Hello everyone, my name is Samantha, but I also go by Sam. I'm the woman behind Scribble's Crochet Corner, and welcome to my corner. So for my first video on my channel, I thought I'd do a brief overview of kind of how I got into crocheting, how I discovered crochet amigurumi, what's inspired me, and then how I started to design crochet amigurumi patterns. So I hope you stick around for my story. Maybe we have some similarities, or maybe this even inspires you to start to crochet. So for those who may not know, my sister is a professional artist. She does a lot of art shows in the Columbus, Ohio area. So I had gone to support her for one of the art shows. And I just happened upon one of the booths which had a lot of crochet amigurumi, including this aardvark. I really wish I remembered who the designer was. It's been years at this point. I wish I would have saved their information just to give them a thank you for kind of inspiring me to start looking into crochet amigurumi. But when I first spotted this aardvark, I was just immediately in love. I knew that when I saw this creator and designer's all of her pieces that she was selling, I knew that that was something I wanted to try and really wanted to master and hopefully eventually design amigurumi for my own designs. So as soon as I got home from the art show, I immediately started researching how I could teach myself how to crochet amigurumi. I actually don't have any friends or family that crochet. I actually grew up knitting, so I never really had picked up a crochet hook before. I had no experience whatsoever. So I really was kind of basing it off of no knowledge of any crochet at all. And really I had not knit since I was probably in middle school, so I didn't really have a good knowledge from that either. So I just happened upon this book, Whimsical Stitches, on Amazon, which is by Menagerie of Stitches, or Lauren SB. She's got great work. So I discovered her very first book and I immediately fell in love with all of the patterns in the book. And I took it as a challenge to teach myself how to crochet some of the creations and designs she has in the book. So again, I really had zero knowledge whatsoever, total beginner crocheter, and I was able to crochet learning from this book with a little bit of YouTube mixed in there too. I did look up quite a bit of YouTube videos as well. My very first amigurumi creation was this jellyfish out of Lauren's Whimsical Stitches book. So I think this little guy took me maybe about a week to make. It was definitely not easy. I did not even know what a single crochet was at the time, or a magic ring. I think it took me a few days to even master the magic ring. So there was definitely some frustration in there. I almost gave up a few times. But as soon as I finished my little guy, it took me probably about a week. But once I finished him, I was super happy with how he turned out, which now I look back and I think, oh, I could have done this differently or used this different yarn or techniques. But at the time I was super overjoyed with how well he turned out, and I really just wanted to make more from there. So from there I really just started to dive deep into the crochet world. I pretty much became obsessed with crocheting amigurumi. That's pretty much what I did in all my free time, and I still pretty much do all that in my free time. But yeah, so just on a daily basis, I was just trying to learn, get better at crocheting. And it got to the point where a lot of people started suggesting, maybe you should try to sell some of your work. So I looked into some markets in my area and started to sell some of my creations, and really was just having a great time creating, learning from other people's patterns. Different techniques. I really started to kind of find what I enjoyed most out of creating amigurumi, which was plants. If you're like me, I'm someone who may not be the best plant mom, so crocheting plants was a great alternative to that. I also have cats. A lot of plants can be toxic to cats. They can also get into it, knock it over. So crocheting plants was a great alternative for me. And then after about, I think it's maybe a year of doing craft fairs, I had a lot of people asking me to crochet car hanging plants. So lots of people at multiple markets were requesting car hanging plants, which I had not really seen or heard of that before. But I thought, you know, that might be a great idea. I've had a lot of people asking me to make this. May not be a bad idea to try and design something and sell it at a craft show. So I did finally decide to design my own car hanging plants and sell them at a craft show, and they did really well. I pretty much sold out of all of them. And ever since then, every craft show I've been to, they are always my best seller. So I had lots of people asking me, you know, I want the pattern, I want the pattern. I wasn't sure if I wanted to design any patterns, and after, you know, thinking about it for a while, I think maybe been 6 or so months before I actually finally started writing down the pattern and putting it into a pattern format that I actually thought, hey, this is actually not a bad thing. I really kind of like this. So yeah, that's how I ended up designing the car hanging plants. And that kind of spurred me to create even more plants. And the more I create, the more I love it. I have a long list of ideas of different things I want to design. My only problem is time, which I feel like that's always a problem, is time. So yeah, that's pretty much a brief overview of how I started to crochet and how I got into crochet amigurumi and pattern design. So definitely share in the comments if we have any similarities with our story. If you're not a crocheter, maybe this will inspire you to learn to crochet. It's really so enjoyable for me. You know, I normally work full-time as a nurse. So this really, crochet has just been an awesome way for me to kind of decompress on my days off. It's super relaxing for me. I just really love everything about it, and I get so much joy designing my own creations and seeing everyone else design things from my patterns. Actually, if you hadn't noticed, I have a little sneak peek, I don't know if you can see it, for my next crochet pattern. So definitely stay tuned for more patterns and subscribe to my channel. Thanks guys, bye!